Good afternoon, this is Anna Nichenko on UATV English, breaking hot truths in easy terms for the whole free world directly from Ukraine. At the meeting of the 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly, Polish President Andrzej Duda compared the relations between Ukraine and Poland with the behavior of the sinker and the savior. The former acts instinctively and can unconsciously cause harm or even drown the latter. President Duda's analogy concerned Kyiv dispute with Warsaw over the export of Ukrainian grain. Duda hints that Ukraine should give way to Poland, its savior. This is a poor analogy because Ukraine's advocacy of its economic interests does not pose a mortal danger to Poland, in contrast to the risk for the savior who helps the sinker. Ukrainians are really fighting off the existential threat from Russia, but they are not sinkers. Thanks to their own resilience as well as the support of partners, Ukraine is confident of its future victory. And this was repeatedly stated in Warsaw by Polish politicians in the European Union and NATO. After all, it is clear that Ukraine is at the forefront of deterring Russian aggression in Europe, and Poland is right behind it. Especially since in Poland in 2011 a plan was already being developed for the withdrawal of troops in the event of Russian aggression. That is, on the banks of the Vistula, they knew and know that Russia can attack and warn Ukrainian territory are more profitable for Poland than on Polish territory. This is clear to everyone. As for the dispute over the export of agricultural products, Ukraine acts strictly within the framework of the rules and agreements with European Union. What's more, she has already offered a compromise regarding the import of grain.
We have already presented the European Commission with an action plan for controlling the export of 4 groups of agricultural products from Ukraine. Such control will help prevent any market distortion in neighborhood EU member states. In particular, we plan to adopt a resolution that provides that goods that are exported to 5 neighboring countries will receive verification and approval from the Ukrainian Ministry of Economy. Denis Shmyhal, Prime Minister of Ukraine, on Telegram.
However, if the neighbors decide to sue, we are ready to accept the WTO decision, even if it is not in our favor. The world needs a fundamental reform of the United Nations to restore international justice and respect for international law. President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, is visiting the United States to address the 78th session of the General Assembly and the open debate of the Security Council on Russia's aggression against Ukraine. This is the second session of the United Nations General Assembly when a member of its Security Council has begun open aggression against a neighboring country. During the visit, Ukraine appealed to the United Nations membership regarding the urgent need to restore and reactivate the United Nations Charter, especially in order to strengthen the United Nations' ability to prevent and halt a crime of aggression. Ukraine also emphasizes the need to rethink the role of the United Nations and undertake fundamental reforms to make it fully reflective of the current global challenges and consider the interests of each state. It is important to continue engaging Asia, Africa, and Latin America states whose voices are getting stronger today and who share the same goal: the restoration of justice, absolute respect for the sovereignty of each state, and guarantees of long-term international peace. The presence of Russia, an aggressor state, in the United Nations Security Council is a glaring example of the deep crisis the international institution is facing today. Russia, who continues to wage the unprovoked full-scale aggression against Ukraine, still had the right to veto any decision that will hold it accountable for grave breaches of international law. No country must be beyond the law. Ukraine once again reminds the world that Russia's presence in the United Nations Security Council is illegal. Russia claims it has obtained United Nations membership and a permanent seat of the Security Council as a successor of the Soviet Union. However, this decision has never been approved by the United Nations General Assembly in any procedural way. Russia's permanent membership in the United Nations Security Council became the greatest diplomatic fraud of the 20th century. 30 years of wars that ended in 24 hours. In Nagorno-Karabakh, an agreement was reached on the cessation of hostilities, the withdrawal of Armenian troops, and the disbandment of separatist units. This was reported to the Ministry of Defense of Azerbaijan. It was reported that a complete ceasefire should be in effect on September 20 from 13 p.m. local time. An agreement was reached on the withdrawal of Armenian army units from the deployment zone of the Russian military. Moscow's propaganda calls them peacekeepers. Illegal armed formations in Karabakh must also be completely disbanded and have equipment withdrawn and disposed of. The administration of the President of Azerbaijan, Ilham Aliyev, announced that on September 21st, a meeting with representatives of the Armenian residents of Karabakh will be held in Evlas to discuss issues of reintegration based on the constitution and laws of the country. I just remind you that yesterday Baku announced the start of local anti-terrorist measures in Nagorno-Karabakh. This armed escalation in the region shows that the Russian peacekeeping mission in the region is powerless and unnecessary. Russia, weakened by the war against Ukraine, can't fulfill its direct obligations to its CSTO allies. This organization lost its race in detail long ago. By the way, Putin's spokesperson Peskov said that all the Kremlin don't accept any reproaches against them. Little quote, we are talking about the actions of the Republic of Azerbaijan on its territory. End of the quote. Okay, this phrase of Peskov once again confirms that Kyiv can conduct any military operations in Crimea and near its coast. Is there something another thing, Mr. Peskov?
Another reminder to all post-Soviet countries: Russia always betrays everyone, and Russian peacekeeping or membership in the Russian-centric CSTO is an invariable knife in the back in a crisis situation, unless, of course, you are ready to delegate part of your subjectivity and sovereignty to Russia. Therefore, never sign any treaties with Russia, do not conduct serious negotiation with it, do not accept peacekeeping contingents, and do not open the door to Russian propaganda and corruption. Friendship with Russia always ends the same way. Mikhailo Podolyak, advisor to the head of the Office of the President of Ukraine, on Telegram.
The reaction of Russian officials to another escalation shows that Moscow is interested not in peace in the Caucasus, but in punishment for the disloyalty of Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan. Russia effectively encourages the overthrow of the current government of Armenia, hoping to impose its minions on the republic. As we can see, as long as Russia has a military force, the war can last for years, and as soon as it loses it, the conflicts fueled by the Kremlin fade away quite quickly. It was Anna Nichenko on UATV English, hoping to give you the hard truths in easy enough terms on our daily wrap-up today. Comment, like and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters a lot to us. Stay safe and tuned for more tomorrow. See you.